Can I speak with you in my office for a moment?
Okay.
I have someone from HR to join us today to discuss the issues we have been experiencing. I want to make sure we are addressing this matter appropriately so we can come to a resolution.
Sure. Okay.
So for this conversation, I would like us to try the conflict resolution method. Since you are both social workers, I assume you are familiar with the discussion process.
You might have to explain it again. Some of us are not familiar with techniques like these.
I'm familiar with this technique, thank you.
Great. So I will reiterate the rules really quickly. No name calling, no profane language, and no interruptions while the other person is speaking.
Understood.
Great. Talia, why don't you go ahead and start us off?
I feel that over the course of my time working here as a supervisor, there has been strong feelings of resentment and disrespect. I believe these feelings you are presenting stem from an opposition to my age and race. I sense that you might be of the opinion that you should not have to report to a supervisor that is not only younger than you, but also one of a race you struggle to identify with.
Good. Okay. And Ignacio, what are you hearing when she says this?
Um, well, what I'm hearing you say is that you get the impression that I don't like you because we have a significant gap in age. You also believe I'm discriminating against you because you are a person of color and I'm not.
Okay, great. And is there anything that you would like to emphasize or point out, Talia?
I would like to emphasize my point regarding the disrespect and feelings of resentment that you must engage with me as your supervisor when you do not think I should be in this role.
Great, good. Okay. Ignacio, now it's your turn.
What I'm hearing you say is that you want me to acknowledge that I do not like that you're my supervisor. And because of that reason, you feel that I did not respect you and resent you.
That is correct.
Good, good. Now it's your turn, Ignacio. You can go ahead and go.
Okay, thank you. Well, I feel that you were selected to be a supervisor due to your race. I feel that due to your age and lack of experience in the human service industry, your race must be the sole reason for you being picked to fill that role. I think that's a little unfair to the other eligible candidates who apply for your position as they have more experience in this field. So I'm a little upset by the unfairness of the decision. And for that reason, I cannot really truly see you as a supervisor.
Okay. And Talia, what did you hear when Ignacio was saying those things?
What I'm hearing you say is you believe the only reason I was chosen for this position was entirely because of my race. You feel there was someone else more deserving of the title and position. You are angry with this decision and do not respect me because of it.
Okay, very nice. Is there anything you would like to point out or anything that she might be missing, Ignacio?
Well, I would like to emphasize that I am angry that the other eligible candidates were not appropriately considered because they were not a person of color. I believe the selection should be made solely based on experience and not on demographics.
Okay. And Talia, can you please tell me what you heard him say?
Well, what I am hearing Ignacio say is the main reason for you being angry is due to the lack of consideration. The other candidates that were given during the selection process, you only think it was fair to make a decision based on skills and hours spent in this profession.
Yeah, that's my point.
This is good. Both of you are expressing yourselves within the set rules of the technique. Are we good to continue?
Yes.
Good. Okay. Talia, you can go ahead and make the next point.
I feel that I was not given this position solely because of my race. I feel that despite not being as an experience in social and human services field as you. I was chosen to be a supervisor because of my strong leadership skills. I feel you have allowed pre-established judgments about my race, age, and past profession to overshadow my skills and abilities as a qualified supervisor. I think if you gave me a chance to perform my tasks as a supervisor, your opinion might change.
Good. And Ignacio, can you please tell me what you heard?
So what I'm hearing you say is that you think you were fairly chosen for the position, and that your race had no part to play in your selection. You think despite not having much experience in social work, you are still qualified to be a supervisor. You think I'm discriminating against you because of these factors. You think I should try and put aside my beliefs and observe your abilities as a supervisor before making a judgment.
Very good. Any additional points you would like to make, Talia?
I would really like to emphasize that I believe these judgments stem from preconceived opinions about my abilities. I believe if you put aside your discriminants and observed my abilities, you might see me as qualified and deserving on this position.
Great. And please paraphrase what you heard her say, Ignacio.
Well, what I hear you saying is that my judgments come from already established beliefs about your race and age. You think if I watched how you worked in this position, I might see your skills for the job.
Okay.
Yes, this is my point.
Good. Great. And now it's your turn, Ignacio, again.
So I believe you might be prematurely discrediting the possibility that you were picked for this job because of your race. I believe that you are incapable of seeing your selection for this position as a product of your race. I also believe you lack the ability necessary to be a good supervisor. I feel that you came into this position with little intent to create good relationships with me and other social workers. I feel in comparison to how things had been before, you have not proven to be a skillful leader.
What I hear you saying is that I am unaware of the pull my race plays on the process of my selection. You also believe I am not intentional with my relationships, and that in comparison to your previous supervisor, I am not a good leader.
I would like to point out that I said in comparison to how things were before, not that I'm comparing you to our previous supervisor.
So just please remember that we don't want to interrupt the other person while they're speaking. So go ahead and continue what you were saying, Talia.
What I hear you saying is that I am unaware of the pull my race plays on the process of my selection. You also believe I am not intentional with my relationships, and that in comparison to the way things were before, I am not a good leader. I also hear you saying this is not in comparison to how the past supervisor performed.
Good. Now, is that correct, Ignacio?
Yeah, that's correct.
I would like to pause here for a moment and just discuss kind of what happened. I understand that the previous supervisor left rather suddenly. Is there a chance that you might be feeling a lack of closure, or and therefore maybe projecting some of your anger somewhat, Ignacio?
I just got used to the way things had been before. We were all a team and have been with each other for over 10 years.
Yeah, and that can be very distressing when our lives change rather suddenly, especially when you're not given the opportunity for closure. However, I do think you have to be open to the possibility of a new relationship with your new supervisor.
I know I just
I do not mean to interrupt, but if I may,
Is that okay, Ignacio?
yeah.
Yeah,
I feel that I could be doing more as a supervisor to connect with our team. Social work is a profession built on a foundation of trust and understanding of how to communicate appropriately. I acknowledge that I came into this position with the same mentality and dynamic that I had at my last job. And while that worked for that position, I understand how it might not fit well in this new role. I feel I need to try harder to build a relationship with each person on this team so that I can be a supervisor that provides the support and encouragement you all need.
That's great. And what are you hearing her say, Ignacio?
Uh, what I'm hearing you say is that you acknowledge that you want to put more effort into building relationships with each of us. You know your demeanor suited your last job, but you understand that it does not work in this setting, and you want to change that now in hopes to develop a relationship that is conductive to a positive work environment, conducive to a positive work environment.
Excellent. And is there anything you would like to emphasize, Leah?
No, he understood it exactly how I meant it.
Great. And is there anything you'd like to add, Ignacio?
Yeah, I feel that I appreciate your acknowledgement and your willingness to put forth effort to get to know each of us in a deeper level. I feel that I could try a little harder to accept your efforts and respond in kind. I also feel that in my anger, I have prejudged you and that your abilities unfairly when instead I should have approached you professionally to discuss the matter. I feel I will try harder to express myself to you when I am having these emotional struggles to and maintain respect towards you and your position.
Very nice. Can you please tell me what you heard him saying?
What I am hearing you say is that you are grateful for my self-evaluation and desire to build individual relationships with each member of the team. You feel you could try to open up to my attempts to make those relationships happen. I also acknowledge your anger and how it may have played a role in how you responded to me becoming your supervisor. I also hear you saying you will try to be more open in your communication when you are having those feelings of anger while remembering to be respectful.
Great. And Ignacio, is there any points you would like to add or emphasize?
I would like to add that I'm sorry deeply.
Leah, what did you hear him say?
What I am hearing you say is that you are deeply sorry.
I feel both of you did an excellent job at this exercise. I also feel that there's an obvious common goal here to build a positive work environment for everyone on the team. Would you both agree that that's the goal here?
Yeah.
Wonderful. I think that this is the first step in the right direction, and I'm hopeful that this will turn out to be a great team in the future. So thank you both for your participation.
Thank you.
Thanks.